In today's lesson, I'm going to have you reread our story of the Ugly Duckling, but I'm also going to have you watch a short movie version of the Ugly Duckling. Just like when we read our story, Jack and the Beanstalk, and also Frog and Toad, the Garden, we read our story and then we watched a short film about it. If you haven't already watched the video, or if you already have as well, think about how is the movie version different from our story version? Do you think that the characters learned the same lesson? Did they still use the phrasing once upon a time or happily ever after? Be paying close attention to these details. Let's get started. For today's reading lesson, we are going to be reading a folk tale called The Ugly Duckling. Now, some of you may have heard of this story before. It is a very popular folk tale. A folk tale is an old story that has been told for many years. Sometimes it teaches a lesson. Our text focus for this story is that many tales have storytelling phrases. Sometimes stories begin with once upon a time. Sometimes they end with happily ever after. What do these words mean in this story? As we are reading through, be looking for a lesson that can be learned. Also be on the lookout for these storytelling phrases. Let's get started reading The Ugly Duckling. Once upon a time, a duck sat on 8 eggs. One day, all but one of the eggs hatched. The ducks waited until the last baby bird came out. He was big and gray. The other ducks thought he was ugly. Each day, the ducklings would follow Mother Duck. They were learning to be ducks. The other ducks did not want to play with the ugly duckling. He felt sad. One day, he left. Winter soon came. A farmer found the ugly duckling. "I must take you home before it begins to snow," he said. When spring came, the farmer took the duckling to a pond. The duckling saw himself in the water. He felt like many years had passed. He had changed. Now he knew he was not an ugly duckling. He was a young swan. He and the other swans lived happily ever after. When reading through our story about the ugly duckling, what lesson do you think the ugly duckling learned? In our story on page 71, it says, "The other ducks did not want to play with the ugly duckling. He felt sad." On page 70, it also says, "The other ducks thought he was ugly." At the end of our story, the ugly duckling looks at his reflection in the water and knows that he is not ugly. He is a young swan. A lesson that can be learned from the ugly duckling is to not worry about what others say or think of you. The other ducks thought that the ugly duckling was ugly, which made him feel very sad. When the ugly duckling looked at himself, he knew that he was not ugly. What matters is how you feel about yourself, not what others think of you. In our story, we also had 2 storytelling phrases. We said that storytelling phrases often begin with once upon a time and sometimes end with happily ever after. In the beginning of our story, The Ugly Duckling, the first sentence says, "Once upon a time, a duck sat on 8 eggs." By saying once upon a time is used to tell of a story that happened in the past and tells that the story is beginning. In the last sentence of our story, it says, "He and the other swans lived happily ever after." When a story ends with the phrase, "lived happily ever after," that means that the character in the story went on to live happily for the rest of their life. That brings us to the end of reading our story for today, The Ugly Duckling. Now, let's read our decodable for the day, called Meet Gert by Carmen Santos, illustrated by John Kurtz. This week we have been talking all about words with ER, IR, and UR. These sounds together say like the rooster. As we are reading through our story, I want you to be looking and listening for words that have the sound in them. It's important that you are following along at home and doing your best to read along with me. Let's get started reading our story, Meet Gert. This is my friend Gert. She is 8 years old. She is in 3rd grade. I wrote about Gert. Turn the pages and meet Gert. This is Gert at the beach with her mom. She begins her day in the shade. She doesn't want to burn. She is reading about surfing. This is Gert with her pictures of birds chirping. Gert likes to take pictures of birds perched in trees. Gert likes red birds. She likes red the best. This is Gert on a team. She plays sports with girls her age. Gert is good at kicking. She and her teammates have on red shirts and shorts. This is Gert on skates. She has on a green shirt and skirt. Gert is just learning to turn on one leg. Gert likes when her skirt spins. This is Gert at a race. She has on a white shirt and shorts. Gert is crossing the red line first. She will win first prize. This is Gert in a pink skirt. She has burst onto the stage and is whirling and whirling. Gert has fun whirling. This is Gert with me. We met in first grade. Now it is Gert's turn to write about me. What a great story for us to get to read about Gert and her friend. Now let's complete an activity in our reader's notebook to finish up our reading video for today. To end our reading lesson, we are going to be completing an activity in our reader's notebook on page 102. This week we have been talking about R-controlled vowels, ER, IR, and UR. The R is bossy and controls each of these vowels, which makes each of them say Today, you are going to write the spelling word from the box that best fits each clue. Here we have 6 clues, and it wants you to choose from the word box for which word best completes the clue. Let's go over our words. The first word is her, fern, girl, sir, stir, bird, fur, hurt, turn, third. I am going to read the clue for you, then I want you to write the word in the box that you think best fits for each clue. We will be checking our answers during our reading intervention time, so please be sure to have your activity done before then. Our first clue says opposite of boy. The opposite of a word means it is completely different. For example, the opposite of night is day. The opposite of happy is sad. Which word from the box would be the opposite of boy? Write the word in the blank for number 1. Number 2's clue says, goes with pain. This means that the word that goes in the box is similar to the word pain. Which word from the box best fits with this clue for number 2? Goes with pain. For number 3, our clue is what a bear has. Think of, what does a bear have? Think of a polar bear in our story. What covered the bear to help them blend in with the snow? Look for the word in the box that would best complete the clue for number 3. What a bear has. Number 4's clue says goes with 3. Think about when you are counting. We say 1, 2, 3, but you could also say, if you were counting, let's say the winners of a race, you could say there's first, second, and so on. Look for the word that best completes the clue for number 4. This word goes with 3. For number 5, our clue is opposite of him. Remember that the opposite of something is completely different. Which word from the box would best answer our clue for number 5? Opposite of him. Write the word in the blank for number 5. And last, for number 6, our clue is an animal. Look for the word in the box that is an animal. Then write the word in the blank for number 6. Once you have completed answering these 6 clues, you are all done with your reading video. We will be checking your answers during your reading intervention time, so please make sure to have this completed. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you soon.